All right, so it's that time of year. It's New Year's resolutions time. And instead of just talking about that in general, let's talk about healthy New Year's resolutions with self-compassion. Really easy to put all of this pressure on ourselves to achieve perfection and then to be really self-critical when we don't meet those goals. And so that's why I want to talk about a self-compassionate way to have goals that are realistic and that you can try to sort of meet. So why do most resolutions fail? So sort of what I'm saying is the unrealistic aspect. They're overly ambitious and then you burn out right away or within time, and then immediately you're disappointed. Another reason is this all or nothing thinking. Say it's you want to work out 3 days a week, and one week you don't do it, and you're like, well, done. I failed. It's over. As opposed to, you know what? This week it didn't happen. Let's try again for next week. And so the last piece of this is this lack of flexibility. When you don't have flexibility, you're not able to adjust your goals when circumstances change. So what's the role of self-compassion in goal setting? You are treating yourself with kindness, you're being more understanding, you're being more patient, you are recognizing that mistakes and setbacks are a part of reaching your goals, and you make adjustments as you go, and it's without self-judgment. And I think a big piece around self-compassion is that we think that if we're not critical of ourselves, then the goals won't happen. And what the research actually shows is that when we're self-compassionate, we are able to meet goals easier. We are able to handle adversity, all of those things. So self-compassion, there's so much research out there at this point that shows that it actually is the more effective way to manage just about everything. But in this case, we're talking about goals. So, some steps to healthy, compassionate goal setting ideas. You're going to start with reflection. So, you're reviewing the past year with curiosity and not criticism, and trying to figure out what is it that you're wanting to focus on. And so, you're going to be setting behavior-based goals instead of things like lose 20 pounds. It can be, I want to practice yoga twice a week. So again, it's specific, and it's also a behavior as opposed to just what the outcome is. You're going to want to break goals into small steps. This is, I think, the most key part of this. You're breaking it down into micro goals. So just like the example I just gave you, it looks like, what does a day look like as opposed to the end goal? What does a week look like? And twice a week, I work out, those types of things. So then you're going to want to prioritize self-care as you're going through all of this. And so something that looks like is, a lot of us work all day and we don't take a break. And so maybe it's 20 minutes outside to take a walk or just hits your face with some sunlight. And lastly, you're going to want to create flexible goals. So allow yourself to have adjustments for goals, and when different life circumstances happen, that you can be flexible and shift and go with it. And so you're not so rigid about what it needs to look like. So here's some self-compassionate strategies for staying on track. You're going to want to talk to yourself like you talk to a friend. So avoid those harsh self-criticisms, especially after setbacks. You're going to want to celebrate the small wins. This part is huge, no matter how small it is. So I'm focusing a lot on the weight one because that's what a lot of people focus on for the new year, but it's also really easy to talk about it in a behavioral way. Maybe if you're trying to do the workout thing and you want to go to the gym for an hour and a half, but you didn't today, you went and walked for 20 minutes. That's huge. Instead of doing nothing, you walked for 20 minutes. So no matter how small it is, you're really celebrating those small wins. And then you're going to want to practice mindfulness. So when there is a setback, instead of spiraling into this failure thinking, you're going to want to really try to stay present and focus on what you've already done and what else you can do in the future. And lastly, to be flexible. So if the goal doesn't serve you anymore or it needs to look different, it's okay to adjust it and change it. So here's some examples of self-compassionate goals. Instead of wanting to, quote unquote, be more productive, you could say to yourself, try to take regular breaks to avoid burnout, or try to celebrate the small wins during the day. Instead of saying, I want to be more positive, it can look like I want to practice gratitude daily. I want to practice self-compassion, just things like that. And if you're finding it challenging to do this and do it on your own, which is totally understandable, that's when it can be really helpful to reach out to a therapist and talk about what these goals are. The therapist can help you be more self-compassionate. They can, with you, celebrate those small wins and remind you that perfection is not the goal and it's not going to be the key to your growth. At Therapy Now SF, that's what our therapists are great at doing. We are a warm and compassionate group of individuals. And so we're really used to helping people set goals that are realistic and then getting to a place of achieving those goals.